G'day and welcome to the Country Rugby League Show. Paul Arundel and Geoff Stevenson back for the finale for 2022.
Final ep, yeah. There's, as of this week, pretty much not a lot of footy around. It'll be like a desert, and we'll have to wait till it gets to next year.
It's almost like half time. You know, the footy, first 40 minutes is done.
Yep.
We go in the sheds for oranges,
yep.
and then we come out for the World Cup.
Oh, yeah, bring it on. We what do we sleep through the day and stay awake at night if we are that committed, which we may be, are in this area?
Yeah, looking forward to that. But we've got a few results from the weekend just gone to get through.
Yeah.
The Group 3 Grand Finals and also the Group 7 Grand Finals. A big crowd was down at Centennial Park, at Albion Park, to watch Warilla, the Gerringong.
Yeah.
We'll get some highlights up there for you now. Look at that crowd on the hill there.
Great crowd, great location, great weather.
Yeah, Gerringong, you'd say they were the hot favourites to win this premiership.
Yeah.
The minor premiers. They scored the first try, Kane Brennan crossing there. Bit of luck, but anyway, that's what happens in grand finals. But the Gorillas, they dug deep and come back and snatched it in a close one, 16-14.
Yeah, geez, we had some early season tries off kicks like that. Big, long kicks, and in the grand final, geez, it's a tough one.
Yeah, and here's the match winner. You'll see shortly, the boys celebrating, but Gerringong scored one with 20 minutes to go. So it was all neck and neck, and then it just become basically a tackle fest, just hanging on. So it was a real ripper of a grand final. So well done to Warilla. They're the 2022 premiers or champions of Group 7.
Nice responsible pitch invasion there as well. You always like to see that as a local grand final. It's a bit unlucky. I guess what I was getting at there, Warilla had, when you put kicks up and grubbers through, it's the bounce of the ball, isn't it? So Gerringong in the grand final, you must feel a little bit deflated that there was a bit of that in the game. But well earned. Warilla, they built form as the season got on. You know, they really worked it up. Did like what they say the Wayne Bennett teams do, sort of built it right into the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was a long season down there at Group 7 because they were one of the first comps that actually kicked off this year, but with all the wet weather. We haven't. I don't know what's going to happen next year. It was a virus 2 years ago. It was flooding this year. God, I hope it's not bushfires or something next year. Like, we really have had some comps especially been completely torn apart this year and had to run with it. And to their credit, and, you know, to the administrators down there, they've just made it happen. Yeah. Group 3, that was another one that had a late start due to what we just mentioned there, the weather.
Yeah.
You went up to Old Bar.
I was there. Yeah, it was fantastic. I was saying to you before we went to air, you know, it was as I was on the way there, or when I was heading up that way, I started to look into, you know, the fact that there is a grand final in such a reserve-y kind of ground.
Yeah.
Old Bar were pressing at the start of the semi-finals to host just a semi-final. So they were really hoping just to get one semi. They ended up getting the grand final there. The whole town, like, as you were driving in, there were pirate things anywhere. They'd spray painted. But if you stood still long enough, you'd have a pirate such chucked on you or colours put on you or stuff like that. So they'd really got into it. The local town had every sign out the front telling you there's coffee here, ATMs there and stuff. So I like that side of it.
Yeah, that's good.
But it was a great game of footy, a great atmosphere, great ground. I've got to say the steak sangers I didn't really ever get to because of the...
sold out or?
No, there was the rissole sandwiches.
Wow.
That they actually store them in a vat of gravy. So they're peeling these dripping things out. So I had a few of those, and I think a lot of people did, but hey, you got to contribute to the local community. That's how I did it. Yep. Fantastic game of footy. I feel sorry for Old Bar because everything was working for them. The crowd there was really on their back. It was a local game.
Yep.
And they had a few unlucky bounces.
Oh, disappointing. But seemed like a good mix of clubs represented. Well, Port City had 3 grades represented. We'll go through the results. In first grade, Port City 20-12 over Old Bar. Reserve grade, Macleay Valley 14-2 over Port Sharks.
Yeah.
Macleay Valley also got up in 18, so 16-15, odd score there.
That was in double, it was extra time, then into Golden Point. Wow. So they were 15 all after extra time. Yeah. And so then they went into Golden Point and kicked another one. So, yeah, it was a good finish.
And ladies tag Warhope 20-6 over Port City.
Yeah, so like I said, great games, great bunch of people up there, real mixture in the crowd. And yeah, look, when it comes to first grade, I'm not saying Port didn't deserve it, but one was Old Bar got an 8-point try.
Yeah.
Because there was a bit of a headshot, I think, as he was putting the ball down. The next play they kicked off, the Old Bar player hit it up. So I think by then they were up by at least 10. And there was a 1-on-1 strip on the next play, and Port City put it under the sticks. And from that moment on, it was just like, they just had momentum knocked out of them. Anyway, great game of footy up there.
Yeah, I failed to mention the Group 7 lower grades. Grand Finals reserve grade, Jamboree 22-16 over Gerringong, and in the 18s, Gerringong 30-0 over Milton Ulladulla.
Yeah, and for looks like they're still celebrating the Reggie's grand final win in Jamboree right now. I think they seem to be.
It would be.
Yeah, they were a great time up there. Down
there. President's Cup, that was also played at Combank Stadium down in Sydney between the Hills District Bulls and Maitland Pickers, and the Pickers got the points, or got the cup again.
Got the cup, yeah. And they should be pleased with themselves, because I think when we were looking at the draw and we're looking at who was going to play who, I still probably thought the Hills were a very good chance of winning, just being the city team, but you keep forgetting the quality of regional and rural rugby league. Yeah,
36-12, was it 5 tries, all individual try scorers for Maitland, and Hills, there was a couple of guys, a couple of naughty players got sent to the bin. There was a bit of heat in the game, but well done to Maitland. That's 2 for 2 with the President's Cup. So well done.
All I can hope after all this is that the concept continues.
Yep.
We've talked about it being bigger and better, but at least if it just stays the way it is, that's not a bad thing. Like I've said before, a bunch of players had a shot at playing at Combank Stadium, and a bunch of players did play there that may have never got the opportunity. So it's fantastic just for them, for the club, a great way to finish the year.
Yeah, well done. All right, mate. That's pretty much all the results that we have from the weekend just gone, mate. We may as well get into around the groups.
Around the groups, yes. Now, I want to talk about the Kelly Cup, which is sort of like, we're going to talk results.
Yep.
There's a bit of a mystery because I cannot find the results of the Kelly Cup. But this concept I didn't know about until I started jumping down a wormhole this week, once I learned about it. It is the Group 20 and Group 9 rep teams play each other at the end of the year down that way. They played on Sunday, still not to get a result. Okay, so check your local guides. It's just not.
We'll flash it up if it's.
It's not one of those things that jumps out at you when you go looking for it.
I think half the problem too is a lot of these competitions, the administrators, they've worked so hard throughout the year. As soon as grand finals done in the local comp, they go and take a month holiday.
Yeah, don't blame them.
So there's no one to run their social media, no one to keep the people updated.
Yeah, that's right. But it's a quality game, and first of all, I want to say credit to everyone down there to keeping this thing going, because it is run after the grand final. That's why I find it so curious about a rep comp after the grand final, which means everyone had to keep doing what they were doing for another week.
Yeah.
Including the players for longer than that, because I was saying to you earlier, there must have been like a train-on group in each group.
Yep.
Because if you finished, your team's done and dusted weeks ago, you're like, well, I don't want to just turn up completely like after like a mad Monday and then a mad couple of weeks of eating. So they keep it going. Aaron Gorrell was the coach of Group 9s.
Yep.
So he's got a nice connection there.
Yeah. He's well known on BarTV. He was coach at Queen Anne Kangaroos for a number of years.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't he down at...
I think he went to Eden.
I was thinking not Snowy River Bears, the town next. I've just had a Cooma.
Yeah. He's moved around a bit, often to clubs like, I think his dad had a connection with Eden, so he went down there, and he's always had that connection with Albury.
Righto.
So he was coach. He coached the Group 9 team. The Group 20 team were always the underdogs, because they don't have, like, Group 9 gets all of Wagga, Young, Gundagai, big areas, whereas Group 20's got Leeton, which...
That's it. The further you get out there, it starts to become more AFL.
Yeah.
And even Griffith's more probably football, soccer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, I think it's a great concept. It was played at Mad Solar Stadium, which is my favourite name for a stadium in rural and regional rugby league in Griffith. But I'd like to know more about it. I reckon like next year, this would be one of those games I think would be great to go to.
Yeah.
They play under 15s right through. So it's like a 10:30 kickoff.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, good on them. Good on them for doing it. And I thought that might be... Forget the President's Cup ones. You know, this could be another way of just getting a nice big bit of excitement into those groups, have groups play each other at the end of the year.
Yeah. No,
anyway,
nice.
Curry knockouts this week. Bomaderry, 60 teams.
Wow.
Which is always, like, I always just love putting that out there. It's usually on telly, so if you're watching NITV often.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic thing to put on when the grand final... Is it grand final week? It often is?
Yeah, normally the grand... Yeah.
Yeah. So you can kick back and watch some footy before the footy.
I think it's celebrating 50 years too.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I don't know enough about the Murray knockout either, but... Yeah, the Curry knockout, that's fantastic.
So it was always good. I know Chris Sandow's been retired, but I just remember, Chris Sandow running out when he was still playing for Parramatta and at his prime and carried his team almost all the way to the finals. And then you see Tamana Tahu.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's right. Yeah, you never know who's going to turn up. It's sort of, it's what's worth watching for sometimes. What teams what players are going to be thrown into teams from all over the state. So that's on.
Yep.
And that's kind of it, really, when it comes to around the groups, really.
Well, that's it. A lot of clubs say go on recess, but they have a break, and a lot of them put a few messages of clubs advertising for coaches for next year, and all that stuff. But
a few have
very quiet.
Re-signed their caps and coaches, or re-signed their coaches for the moment.
It's almost like someone's flicked the switch off. There's no more rugby league.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't blame them. But people work very hard, and this isn't their job. They're often just doing it as volunteer work and stuff like that. So, but no, like I said, there's still stuff humming along there. The Curry knockout will be worth watching, keeping an eye on, and go from there.
All right. Well, now that. Oh, is that around the groups?
Oh,
is that done?
Yeah, we are around the groups. Done.
Yeah. Righto, we'll move into something now that all the group competitions are finished. Clayton Cup.
Yes.
Now, we believe it is going ahead this year. So we've put together a little group that we think that are contenders. So the image you see there on the screen now is when all the comps finish the regular season. So that doesn't include semi-finals, etc. there, but... probably the two that stand out, you'd have to say, are Scone and Dora Creek.
We also know that they're undefeated in their semi-finals too at Scone. So at Scone and Gundagai. Dora Creek, if we discussed this with the Clayton's Cup, do you count every comp or do you just count the group comps or you just count the first grade comps or whatever you call them? But
I think you've got to count every comp that's under the New South Wales banner because you can only play who's in front of you.
Yeah.
And, Dora Creek have been, the outstanding team in Newcastle Hunter now for a number of years, even before COVID.
Yeah. I look at it like a knockout comp. Like when you play Challenge Cup games and that kind of stuff, every team has a chance. Yeah. Every team has a chance. It might not be likely that your local muck around team is going to win it, but they have their chance. And I think it's the same way. You're right. I think if you're playing in a comp, you have your chance. As soon as you lose a game, you're out. Too bad, and these teams didn't lose a game.
All right. Well, then up there you can see we've included another one, Goodoga. They beat Manildra in the grand final.
Yeah.
They beat Burke in the grand final, not Manildra, sorry.
Yeah.
But, Manildra lost their grand final, so they're down 2. But you can see Gundagai, they won their comp, Scone and Dora Creek. They're probably the 3 now that you would have to say.
Definitely. And I think at the least, this is worth recognising. I think that's probably the only thing we've kind of worked out in the past year or two with the Clayton's Cup. No one recognises it. No one kind of puts it out there. We're putting it out there. But those ones that came close, that could be the best season Goodoga has in a long time. Yeah. So it's worth sort of saying, look, you might not have won the Clayton's Cup, but holy moly, you went really close. Any team that almost wins the Clayton's Cup is a very good team. Yeah. I think that's the point I'm making.
So, righto, you're picking the Clayton Cup winner. Who do you, out of those ones that we had up there on the screen?
Oh, I reckon... Oh, I was going to say Gundagai, but then you look at for and against. I think for and against with the Clayton Cup's a very good measure because they haven't lost a game, so they haven't had those blowouts go the other way. And, Scone's for and against is so superior, it's pretty hard to argue with. They have played more games.
That's who I'd pick. I'd pick Scone for the fact that they're undefeated.
Yeah.
No draws. Gundagai had 2 draws.
Yeah.
Dora Creek didn't have draws either, but... the points differential so great.
Yeah.
They haven't won just a comp. They've dominated all year.
Yeah, that's right.
And their reserves, Ladies League Tag and 18s, also won their comp. So as a club in whole, I know it's only a first grade thin Clayton Cup, but
Yep, I reckon do it. Yep, let's lock it in.
So
Scone,
Scone.
Is there someone here from Scone now to present the award?
Anyone?
Sorry, no, we didn't arrange that. But... if no one else is going to crown the Clayton's Cup for 2022, do we do it? Is this...
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say it now, and if no one else says it, then we were the ones that did it.
Wait and see. I mean, New South Wales Rugby League normally have a presentation, CRL used to have just a massive piss up. So that's when I used to present it. So I'd say New South Wales would do something similar, probably after the grand final week.
And to their credit, their media has been better at focusing on country stories and things. Now we're under that umbrella.
Yep.
So I'll await and see. They may announce it, and they may not say Scone. And of course, Scone fans listening right now will be like, "Yeah, woo, we won." Yeah. But yeah, I reckon it's a worthy award.
All right. Well, that's the Clayton's Cup anyway.
Yeah.
We think it should go to Scone. We'll wait and see if that is correct. All right. In focus last week, we talked about the AFL NRL big cash bonanza, and where does that leave CRL compared to for NRL funding to CRL, but not much response from that, so everyone else must have gone on holiday. So we'll move into our In Focus for this week, and I've just got a series of questions that I'd like to throw at you.
Yeah.
You can throw them back.
Good, throw away.
But, In Focus. Now, the first question I've got, participation or pathways?
Now, get ready to catch some things I'm going to throw at you. No, okay. This is a rabbit warren I just got sucked into when I started to think about it. When you told me about the In Focus questions, I think it's really what got me was what just kept coming back at me is what's wrong with what's happening already, in a way. Because my theory when it comes to pathways are, and I'm saying like you can correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking at people who want to go better, higher, faster, and then professional eventually. The end of the path is that you do it for a living because that's what you want. Like that's a pathway, good way to describe it. I can't imagine that there are any super high quality rugby league players sitting in a country club in New South Wales that the NRL has not found.
Yeah.
I'll be very that doesn't want to be there. That just says, no, sorry, I don't want a pathway. And that's what we've got to respect as well in this debate. There are people out there that just may not want to.
I think with juniors though, that there could be kids missed for the fact that the parents can't get them to rep training on a Tuesday because they live 3 hours up the road.
Yeah.
So there is that potential there, but I guess my thing is like the time of the year. So rep season seems to kick off in February. Yeah. How do you know that young kid that's just signed up for a club in March? Yeah. He might give it away. And
I guess I'm not looking at those really junior pathways enough. I guess you're right because that's where kids can go to other sports. Just like I think we talked about the Snowy River Bears. I think I've mentioned them before to you briefly, maybe. I don't know. But they don't have any juniors under 18. So if you want to play rugby league in Jindabyne, you've got to go to Cooma. Yeah. And if you can't be bothered doing that, you're playing rugby union. Yeah. Or you're playing AFL. Yeah. But I think that's more of a participation thing. Yeah. Just getting players to play. It doesn't matter whether they're good, bad, or indifferent.
We'll get back. Is it participation or pathways? Which one do you think is more important?
I think participation because the pathways look after themselves. That's kind of my debate. Yeah. Like I was thinking of two examples. There is one, I think he could be the only one in rugby league right now, a player called Cooper Ferrari. Yeah. Have you heard of Cooper Ferrari? No. He is a 16-year-old from Dubbo. Yeah. The only Cooper Ferrari in Dubbo, I'd say. Yeah. There's another one called Nick Murphy from Orange. Now, they've just played, Nick played in first grade Orange Sims this year and has now signed with SG Ball for Penrith.
Right, okay.
Cooper's the same. So Cooper Ferrari's now in the ball team for Penrith, and I think he was playing for Dubbo Sims probably. Two good Catholic boys. Yeah. What's wrong with that pathway? Yeah. They've gone and they've played their junior club into their senior club, into first grade senior club, into a potential professional career. And that was sort of what struck me. What's so broke about that system that obviously they're good enough to make that jump, and they've been found by these bigger clubs that do it because they want a good player,
All right, so we both agree participation before pathways.
Yeah, you get them playing, and that stuff will happen.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Oh, righto. How many clubs will not return in 2023?
Oh, I'm hoping. I thought about this, and this is my hope. I'm just going to put this hope out there that everyone had a year off after COVID because everyone was a bit after COVID. Yeah. The poor buggers in Lismore then had a flood to deal with. Yeah. But I'm hoping some clubs will come back a lot dropped back to reserve grade because they were like, we just can't get the numbers. Yeah. We just can't get the numbers. Or the numbers that are turning up don't want to play first grade. I reckon they could go up because there'll be guys that have had a year off and gone, you know what, things are a bit more normal now. I want to get back into it.
Okay, well, that leads to my next question. Yeah. How many clubs will return?
I reckon I would love if 7 or 8.
Yep.
Like, that would almost be how many... Do you reckon we actually were positive in clubs coming back this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you said, Casino's one that sticks out, just entered reserve grade.
Yep.
So
June.
They'll be looking, June. Those two will be looking to push the first grade next year.
But for every one of those, there was the Aurora Valley, Crescent Heads, Sawtell.
Yeah.
I can't think of others. Even up to Helensvale. No, not Helensvale. Who am I thinking of?
Ormo.
Yeah. A few of those that are balancing the ledger a bit.
One that I'd love to see get back, and I think one of the big problems was just finding committee, was Gyra. They folded last year. Now, about this time of year, you normally see a few posts pop up on social media with trying to get a committee, and we'll try and get a team. Stockton Sharks is another one. They've been in and out of Newcastle Hunts now for probably the last decade. They've been in, out. They just can't seem to find consistency. And
see, those ones are the ones I'm thinking of. Then maybe everyone's just had that year of like recovering, sitting around on the couch, and they're going, look, as much as BarTV is entertaining, I might go play it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. I mean, I can see. I think Ningen was another one.
And I'm not sure if they were in. I think they were in the Peter.
No, they were. Yeah. No, they were. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, there were a few where it was the players that said, "We don't want to play first grade."
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking as well. Those players may say, "Look, we didn't want to commit fully last year because we were all getting over this whole crazy lockdown stuff. This time around, they might say, look, let's give it a bash."
Yeah. All righto. President's Cup, will it be back in 2023?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually don't think anyone, the people that would make that decision probably had a positive experience. I reckon even some of those people that made the decision might have attended the game or watched it and gone, that was quite entertaining. And, it's a bit, you know what I mean? You introduce a bit of diversity down to some of the more rigid comps, not saying Sydney Metro, but...
Well, one of the things that stood out to me, only because I saw him get sin bin, was Tyler Castle for Hills District. I'm like, Tyler Castle, he played for Malta. I would never have known who Tyler Castle was running around for until that President's Cup game.
To watch Perry LeBrock score in the corner at Combank. Yeah. It was weird when you heard the call. I was like, look at that. How cool is that? You see that happening at the graveyard and all that kind of stuff. To actually see it happen, it's really cool.
Yeah. Right, and I've sort of, it's like a double-loaded question here. I've also pinched this one off you. Oh. NRL fines. Now, players get fined for being naughty on and off the field. First of all, where does that money go to? Mm. And if it just goes into a safety deposit, slush fund or safety end of season
Christmas
slush
party,
fund. How about put it in a pot, whatever, in a safe, and then bush clubs can maybe bid to get that cash, that it's like a grant. So we'll just throw up. We'll say Ningen need new dressing sheds for females. Yeah, righto. NRL's got they've probably got over $1 million bucks in fines.
You wonder,
this year.
Don't you?
Yeah. So I was like, righto, send in your application, and you might get $20,000 towards something.
That's right. And it's like without.
I don't know where the question is there.
The question is, do you agree? Yes, I agree. It's a great idea, but I'm a bit passionate about this because I think there are clubs out there that would not need a stupid amount of money to make a big impact. Yeah. Like I drive past occasionally the Karoo-Roos new dressing sheds. Yeah. I don't know how much they cost, but they look schmick. Yeah. Valentine Junior Rugby League, which is not far from our studios here. Yeah. Giving away where we are. They've just opened a brand new complex that's council kind of funded and co-funded and that kind of stuff. But what I'm thinking about, the littler clubs might just think, geez, we just need, our car park keeps flooding. Yeah. Can we just get, can you just get some money to help, fix that up? And you're right, that money, at the very least, it's unexpected.
Yeah.
No one ever goes into the year. Maybe the NRL do. It's kind of creepy. They go and say, like, we should make $300,000 because the players can't drink very well. They're very good at getting too drunk and they do dumb stuff.
I laugh if all that money from the fines went to purchasing the hotel up in Caxton Street.
that'd be great.
It'd just be ironic, wouldn't it?
You could fund the repayments by just letting the players drink there.
Yeah.
They keep drinking, guys, and then they just do something dumb. You're $80,000. But also, without getting too political about all this, I think also the problem I get with when we think about this extra money and stuff is we always sort of seem to be fighting over this money that isn't there. And I think we need to get to the point now in rugby league to accept that we're a very big competition with a lot of money flowing in and out of it. Like the NRL, I think I harped on it last year, but they made a $20 million profit. Now, if you gave 10 of that to somebody to distribute into smaller clubs for participation, it would make a massive difference. Yeah. And that's just a choice. That's just they would say, oh no, and they chose to buy the Caxton. So you know what I mean? We've got to stop, I think, living in a world like we did 20 or 30 years ago, where every single dollar. That's what's happening in the country. Rugby. I'm not doubting it's not happening in the real world, but in head office where they should be kind of supporting the real world, there's plenty of money.
Yeah. All right, so that's In Focus this week. A few questions there. If you got your own opinion, leave a comment below on the social media posts.
We won't disappear at the end of the off season like all those clubs.
Well, who knows? So In Focus, and look, if you got any ideas or questions you want to throw at us for Country Rugby League, then feel free to, as I say, leave a comment, drop us a PM, and we'd be happy to share them. Possibly on next year's show, if we return.
Have a summer season or something. Have a summer episode, a Christmas special. Maybe.
Christmas special.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
What do you think? Around the Grounds Christmas. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. All right, mate. That's in Focus. Yeah, and we're pretty much done and dusted with that. Yeah.
Done and dusted. We've run out of rugby league to talk about.
Yeah.
There'll be an endless supply, no doubt. But like you say, people send in anything really, because this is kind of the time of year things get quiet, but then some clubs start thinking about next year.
Yeah, actually, World Cup, as we said, that's just around the corner. There'll be a lot of bush footy players representing, say, the Minnow Nation. So already a few have been picked. So good luck to all those guys. And good luck to the
currently, Mittagong is one of the clubs more represented than anyone. Yeah. And Bunbury in Victoria. Remember we talked about that a few weeks ago for the Greek team, but we haven't had other as you're listening to this now, other squads announced that are more likely to have regional players. Like Italy hasn't made an announcement yet.
No.
If there's a Jamaican player playing rugby league in Australia, I'd be very impressed. Yeah. But, anyway. Yeah. There's a Ferrari potentially going to be playing very soon, so I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, awesome. Well, mate, that's the CRL show for 2022, done and dusted. We'll have our Mad Monday starting in about 5 minutes' time. Yeah.
Silly whatever day it is.
Yeah. All right, Paul Arundel, Jeff Stevenson signing up for 2022. The Country Rugby League Show. Hope you enjoyed everything that we've brought to you. And we'll be back sometime next year.
Definitely. Have a good one.